Hispanics across industries. And you can see a 33 to a 66% increase in employment in the previous decade up to now, from across groups that include whites, African American or Black, Asian versus Latinos, Hispanics. And if you don't see a 33 to a 66% increase, you see a near 70% increase in certain fields, particularly in agricultural work, industrial labor work, construction, and now in the automobile industry. So, and then there is other demographic information for labor force statistics for people in certain positions as young as 16. So I find it not so conflicting that the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission would have direct ties to these disparaging statistics and information that are more than preferential for the Latino Hispanic population in the United States, again, rather foreign born, undocumented, or U.S. born and documented. There was an executive summary produced May 21st, 2008, where the chair of the EEOC, Naomi C. Arp, was in partnership with the Social Security Administration Commissioner Michael J. Estrue, announced the creation of a federal Hispanic work group. Don't know how that was able to happen when the EEOC exists to observe, for, highlight, investigate, and punish preferential treatment of protected groups in relation to the direct opposite for people not of a preferred group or desired population. But again, on May 21st, 2008, this event marked the culmination of a series of discussions between the EEOC's chair and representatives of the Hispanic federal and EEO communities. The Hispanic Work Group was directed to examine concerns about federal sector employment, including but not limiting to, guess what? Hiring, leadership development, and retention. More importantly, the work group was given the responsibility of formulating recommendations designed to enhance and refocus federal Hispanic employment plans and to remove barriers and level the playing field to encourage greater opportunities for Hispanic applicants and employees throughout the federal government. So what do you think this meant for people who were non-Latino Hispanic? Feel free to share. So examples of the group's recommendations are listed. There are at least 6 specifically. And if you go further down on the page where the link was made available, and of course I have pictures here for you all, they actually outline specified steps. So this is what you would consider an operational method here on how they want to achieve their goals for ensuring, making available, and promoting Hispanic employment at the federal level. They provide background information. They provide steps, measures that they will take for recruitment and hiring, or recruitment and selection, retention, leadership development, role of the Hispanic Employment Program Manager, accountability, etc. Now, this work group actually conducted interviews, met with various organizations, and found that applicants, federal employees, and selecting officials expressed very similar concerns with regard to recruitment and hiring in the federal government. There was a portal that I began using more than a decade ago, that the USA Jobs website. It was a federally managed website, as well as other websites by federal employers, where you could use this portal to apply for jobs available within any department and entity within the United States, whether they were civilian jobs in military, etc. So this was a portal where all you had to do was enter your personal identifiable information, upload a resume, a cover letter, transcripts, and if you were deemed eligible for this position, you would have a general rating where if you were hired or offered an opportunity, you would be hired in at that minimum base rating. And all federal employees or former employees know exactly what I'm talking about, military or non-military. This is where you would see your GS1 to as high as, I'm not sure what it is today, I'm going to say at least a GS10. And with those ratings, there is a formal pay table where there's a range. There's a minimum starting range, and then there's a maximum starting range for that. So this work group deemed this portal as user unfriendly and suggested that it needed improvement. I don't know why after all the years it existed, but for some reason they did not find it equal for them or the desired group in reference to the studies, the research, and the findings presented by way of SPSS. So this is where I want you all to read on your own, gather some information, and understand that there are direct steps taken to create an environment where people do not have equal access to opportunities, not just at the federal level, but at the local level. When you have a government that's extracting a group and uplifting or propelling it in such a way that every member of the group has an opportunity to excel at the expense of people within their national walls at a rate that is unfavorable for an undesired group, you will have subsequent actions, tension, consequences, and thus all the factors and components that will encourage suffering, violence, clashes, and any other detrimental negative event or occurrence that you can think of. So I am going to end here by saying I will pick up with solutions tomorrow. Back to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. The Department of Labor produces an occupational outlook handbook. That's the solution to this, especially for African Americans or blacks, Asians, or U.S. citizens in general, because it appears that the government does not desire their people within this country who have contributed to the development and the longevity thereof. So the Occupational Outlook Handbook always addresses the leading professions in the adjacent fields of study. And right now, those are engineering, medicine, law, accounting, or a combination of the two. So that's where I'm going to focus on tomorrow. That's a solution to part of the problem and how SPSS is used by federal governments, entities, organizations, individuals, businesses, nonprofits, for-profits, etc. They use it in a way that is more than manipulative, condescending, but beneficial to their agenda. And I always tell people you can use SPSS in the same way. You can promote whatever study you have. Again, if it starts good, if it's reliable and valid, it will end well. But here you have examples of how SPSS is used by a government that does not begin well for everyone, and it's certainly not going to end well for everyone, especially when you have a targeted desired group versus an undesired group. But this is America, and these are their findings. Thank you. Have a great day. Those who are U.S. born and those who are non-U.S. born.